Welcome to this transformative masterclass on unlocking your peak performance that will support you in your business and your professional life. It's an honor to have you here because we're going to explore a proven four-phase fitness journey that's ultimately designed to help you to reach your genetic potential and to do so in a way that honors the complex realities of this season of life right now. This is a masterclass for high achievers, leaders, and those who refuse to settle for less than their best. Whether you're here to just gain an edge in business, feel even more energized in a relationship, reclaim vitality, or get the aesthetics of six pack abs, you've come to the right place. I'm Lance King, and I am the owner of XFit. I'll be walking you through the dynamic framework that combines science, practical strategies, and some mindset shifts that enable sustainable results. Each of my four-phase program builds on the last, and it forms a roadmap that aligns with anyone's lifestyles and goals. So take a minute to just appreciate that by simply being here, you've already made an incredible investment in your health. And I appreciate you trusting me to guide you through this. Now, as we shift some gears over the next 30 minutes, set aside any distractions, lean in, and allow yourself to fully engage in this process. This is your time. This is your investment. I promise it's worth it. Well, what's costing you energy and productivity? Low energy and productivity come at a high price, especially when you consider the ripple effects they have on every aspect of life. At work, it's costing you and possibly your organization money, missed opportunities, lower output, and time spent spinning your wheels. That's the result of a lack of energy and productivity. So let's take this now to home. How do you often feel when you get home after a day being at the office? Are you fully present with your family? The time we lose because we're not at our best physically or mentally, it has a direct impact on the people who matter most. When energy is low, tasks just take longer, decisions feel harder, the effectiveness drops so much in professional and personal roles. And if you're honest, you're probably already sensing that the weight of this inefficiency is slowing you down. So the bottom line is this: energy leaks, poor recovery, lack of productivity, they don't just drain your potential, they drain your wallet. They drain your relationships and your personal sense of fulfillment. So I would ask you, what would happen if you could tap into the vitality that's already inside of you and amplify your productivity while freeing up more time for what really matters? That's exactly what we're here to solve today. And unfortunately, 80% of business owners and entrepreneurs, they report energy dips throughout the day. This is a likely scenario that may be part of your life. And it's because insulin resistance often goes unnoticed and things compound in the wrong direction as a result of stress, poor nutrition, and lack of exercise. So, why do I do what I do? Let me just share something that's deeply personal with you, something that's shaped not just my career, but my purpose. I've been a fitness coach specializing in nutrition and exercise planning for over 20 years. And in the beginning, I thought I had it all figured out. I honed down on a process that would help clients achieve remarkable transformations. Some of them even prepared for bodybuilding competitions because that's my background. I started with bodybuilding. I'm a an all natural bodybuilder that won a pro card at 21, and that really set the proverbial stage for fitness coaching for me. I had the science of aesthetics down to a fine art. But here's the truth: I actually didn't know how to take people further than the mirror. Aesthetics are one thing, but true vitality, the energy, the resilience, and the well being that really carry you through life's complexities, that was something I didn't fully understand, especially in my early 20s. And honestly, I struggled myself. Peaks and valleys in my own health and performance left me frustrated. And until I realized that I I wasn't creating systems that could stand the test of time. I needed something that not only worked in the short term, but also delivered long term success. And here's the challenge most coaches face when they're starting out. Either they're trying to do too much too quickly, or they simply don't know what they don't know. For me, the wake up call came when my mom passed away at just 47 years old. She was a single mom for many, many years. She had a high pressure executive role. Just before she passed, she had gone through 3 high stress marriages. Constant demands left her body battling elevated cortisol, uh, unbalanced hormones, ultimately an internal ecosystem that became a breeding ground for cancer. And after she was diagnosed at 46, she had just 10 months, and everything just completely shifted as far as my perspective of how to improve this internal ecosystem. As I looked at her state of being, I thought, is there a way to improve how a person's internal systems could align so that this never happens? And so, again, losing her forced me to look a lot deeper. I asked a lot of questions about how I could design nutrition and exercise plans that respect the realities of a busy lifestyle while working with the body's natural systems, the hormones, the gut health, and homeostasis that promote long term health. Now, I'm not a doctor, but my many years of research, learning, the hundreds of clients I've worked with have led me to build systems that give people the best chance to thrive in the face of life's demands. The plan I've developed, it's scalable, it's realistic, it meets you where you're at, and it evolves with your lifestyle. The goal is to foster vitality through smarter, simpler nutrition and exercise practices. Let's tackle an uncomfortable truth. Most nutrition and fitness plans fail, not because people don't want to succeed, but because they're battling obstacles they're just not equipped to navigate. The biggest culprits are certainly time restraints, the overwhelm of meal preparation, balancing the networking and the social life, the nonstop demands of travel. These are some things that create confusion. They lead to inconsistencies. They make it feel almost impossible to stick to a plan. Can you relate? Well, here's the thing, each of these challenges can be navigated, but only if you maintain consistent focus, especially from the start. It's much like flying a plane. The most critical phase of the flight is the takeoff. You need a high degree of precision, effort, and attention in those first moments. And once you're in the air, cruising, things become much smoother. And so the same is true with your health and fitness journey. A solid plan that's tailored to your unique lifestyle, it gets you off the ground. But the key to reaching your destination is sustaining consistency despite the turbulence that life throws your way. So when we approach these challenges strategically, not only can they be managed, but they can be opportunities for growth. Yes, insulin, the silent productivity killer. Just want to introduce you to Rob, a hardworking entrepreneur with big dreams, big intentions to make each day productive. His mornings start strong, focused, energized, ready to conquer. But then he moves into breakfast. By mid morning, his energy dips. It becomes harder to focus. Then he gets into a stride only to have lunch roll around. And instead of a productive afternoon, he faces an energy crash, complete with brain fog and the dreaded post lunch slump. Dinner should end the day on a good note, but instead he's left feeling heavy, fatigued, and even out of breath just walking upstairs to his room. I don't know if this sounds familiar. This is, though, the hidden impact of insulin, the silent productivity killer. And without a plan to keep blood sugar levels stable, on the chart, it's the line that cuts through the middle of those swings in insulin. we see weight gain, brain fog, and constant cycles of fatigue. And the frustrating thing is that, as I mentioned earlier with my mom, this imbalance creates this perfect storm for disease and ultimately for chronic illness. Let me emphasize, weight isn't always the issue. My mom wasn't overweight, but chronic stress and the imbalance of hormones, they wreaked havoc on her internal systems. It created this dangerous environment where cancer thrived. So again, back to that plain analogy. Once we get the balance of insulin in check, once we create these initial systems in the beginning, you'll find efficiencies that help you to stay closer to that middle line on that chart. So, a couple of things to consider. First, that if we determine that XFit is the right fit for you, we are going to look at three main drivers. So, first, sustainable fitness in a body that you're proud of. One of the things that I like to say is that the real thing we are providing people is the one thing that they want when they get out of the shower and they look at their body in the mirror. It's confidence. You'll not only build a body that looks great, but it performs efficiently. The body is so good at providing feedback, and that's at the gym, that's at the office, or at home with your family. This is not about short-term results. It's about creating a foundation that you really can maintain for life. Improved energy is the second part, and again, that confidence. Say goodbye to brain fog, sluggish afternoons, and feeling out of breath doing simple tasks. Instead, we want to feel energy, stamina. You want to show up in life confident and being fully present. And then third is a clear, repeatable path for any season of life. As life evolves, so do your challenges. This program gives you a roadmap you can return again and again to, no matter your age, your goals, and circumstances. I've experienced that in my 40s. I've been absolutely amazed, as do clients from the ages of 20 to 70. I've worked with all ages. So this is much more than just a fitness plan. It's actually a life strategy that puts you back in control of your body, your energy, and your productivity. I want to share just a couple of examples of people that have seen this. So Mike, he was someone that had a background in wrestling. Growing up, he wrestled, and his son got to an age where he said, "Dad, I'd love if I could get into wrestling." And that just crushed him because he had this dream of actually teaching his son as a coach how to wrestle. And he felt sluggish. And anytime you feel sluggish, your blood's likely sluggish. And if your blood's sluggish, then some things internally are really out of whack. And so this is where he was at. It was the result of just getting into the patterns of life where you get the education, you work the long hours, you climb the ladder. And Mike had climbed the ladder, one of the highest in the organization. And so realizing that he needed to shed a lot of weight, he needed to boost his energy, he needed the stamina to be in a wrestling room. We met him where he was at. He had to take a look at what he had at the house, dust off some of the exercise equipment. We looked at his nutrition plan and made sure it fit the type of food that he liked to eat, the timing of his life. Everything wasn't perfect in the beginning, but ultimately he began to coach his son. And this was his driver. This was his why. And it's so critical to consider your why, to start with why. It's an anchor to progress. And as you can see in his testimonial, I never thought I'd be able to coach my son in wrestling. The program gave me energy and helped to do something I'd always dreamed of. There are dreams that you still have to do with your body? What are they? What is your why that can help to anchor your success? Let's just take a moment to visualize something powerful. So think back to some of the happiest moments of your life. Maybe it was a vacation, a celebration, or just a day where everything felt right. Do you have that in your mind? When you look back on a time where you felt you were living your best life, what made it great? What was it that created the excitement around that feeling? Hold on to that, because that energy is what we want to bring back into your life, and we want to sustain it. Living your best life, it isn't just a buzzword. It's just about realigning your daily habits with real meaningful measures of success. Here are some examples. So, added confidence in your relationships, knowing exactly what to eat, whether you're at home, in the office, or on a business trip. Being able to enjoy treats while still looking and feeling fit. Yes, that's a possibility. Improving posture and standing tall with pride. Feeling strong enough to participate in sports or activities you enjoy. Fitting into your favorite clothes again. These are a few measures of success. And of course, reducing disease rates, as I mentioned in my mom's story. One of my clients, I'll just share briefly, hung a picture of he and his wife in front of a cruise ship, and they were smiling ear to ear, both in the best shape of their lives, living it to the fullest. But as the years went by, life just happened, and his bank account grew along with his high-paying executive position, but his health took a back seat. The man in that picture, fit and happy, it began to seem like just a memory from a distant past, a version of himself he never thought he would see again. That's when he decided to make a change. He began to feel a high degree of dissatisfaction. He reached out to me acknowledging that just as he had leaned on mentors and coaches in his career, he needed guidance to regain control of his health. And through my four-phase fitness journey, he redefined what was possible. He transformed his lifestyle. He went from 260 pounds to under 200, down to right around 190. And he didn't just look better, he felt better, stronger, confident, and even more reconnected to a lot of things that began to that mattered in life, and that's certainly relationships. So now imagine what this could look like for you. Picture yourself rediscovering the best version of you that's capable, energetic, unstoppable, not just for one photo or one moment, but for the life ahead. It is time to open up those possibilities. Are you ready to take that step and to start living your best life every day? One more story, and we're moving into this four-phased fitness coaching journey. Meet Sarah, dedicated, professional, loving mom who faced a heartbreaking struggle. Her back pain and nerve issues had become so severe that even something as simple and meaningful as picking up her son began to feel impossible. Years of sitting at a desk as a financial planner, it compounded an already injured back from her collegiate soccer days. Her posture began to deteriorate over time, making the pain worse and limiting her ability to enjoy the activities that she loved, like soccer, and the moments she desperately wanted, like holding her child. When we began working together, we focused on rethinking our approach to her daily life. She had to start waking up earlier, which was a challenge because her pain often disrupted her sleep. We also addressed habits like her regular evening alcoholic beverages with her husband, substituting them with choices that were better for recovery. And most importantly, we introduced small, manageable steps, gentle mobility exercises to reduce tension, posture improving movements designed to strengthen her supporting muscles to better align her body, meal prep solutions. And over time, these small steps added up. And as she grew stronger, her nerves began to relax. In this case, her pain subsided, and this improved posture and refound strength, I should say, allowed her to achieve her most personal and most meaningful goal. She was able to pick up her child confidently and without pain. Sarah's story is a testament to the power of persistence, guidance, and starting with what's possible. If you've ever felt stuck in a cycle of pain or limitation, remember, small intentional changes can lead to life changing outcomes. And so, with that said, consider what your before and after will be. The transformation that you see in a lot of these before and afters of my clients, they're not just about physical. It's a reflection of deeply individual journeys designed to meet each one of them where they were at. Every fitness experience in my program begins with a detailed application process. We are not going to rush into this. We are going to plan for success by evaluating your background with your fitness, your unique fitness goals, whether it's weight loss, muscle building, or just simply feeling stronger and healthier. Body composition and posture, because these certainly are the foundation of sustained progress. Time and resources available for exercise, so your program fits seamlessly into your life. Specific macronutrients like the proteins, the fats, the carbs that you prefer, because you need to make sure you need to enjoy what you're eating. And then what a typical day of eating and activity looks like. So the plan becomes part of your routine, not a disruption to it. Each journey really is unique. Every client ultimately moves toward what I call their X fit. Think of X fit as like the signature version of peak fitness that is specifically yours. So the X could represent your last name. So for me, it would be King Fit. It is your personal journey, and there is a very specific path with seeds of greatness. So, return on investment, elevated energy that spills over into every aspect of life, improved posture that boosts both confidence and physical health, reduced risk of disease through better habits and improved overall wellness. Fitness success stories, they're like running a race, and it is a lot like a marathon, and not a sprint. So remember that again, your before and after is about becoming your best self, and the roadmap to success is the valley phase, the ramp phase, the growth phase, and the peak phase. In the beginning, we'll start with patterns. We then gain momentum. There's more and more structure and more autonomy. Into the growth phase, we start to fine tune strategies. There's more measurable success. In the peak phase, that's really optimized performance. And just like Mike, he was able to work with his son, but then he went on to do a triathlon and felt an interest to even look at a marathon. And so optimized performance is something that continues to evolve. I love the quote by Zig Ziglar that says, I love it on the mountaintop, but it's in the valley where I grow. I recognize that a lot of you have had some significant peak fitness success, and that's only going to prepare us as we move into these four phases. So, in the beginning, we are going to have clarity so we can take massive action on a four-phased plan. Every week, there's coaching that has personalized feedback, and we have accountability that is not just us, it is going to include others that are in these different phases to help support you to stay on track. And they need it just as much as you do. And then as far as check-ins, this is a very data-driven program, and I'll get into more of what we do with a fitness performance tracker in a moment. So 4 things to consider in the valley phase. The structure for long-term success is built out from the very beginning. And then we build on simple, sustainable habits that are going to evolve over the next year with holidays, with trips, with kids' activities, with things that you don't even have planned. Boosted energy and a jump start and fat loss is a big part of the valley phase. You will enable even more fat to be mobilized or moved into the bloodstream. And a lot of this happens as you realign hormones like testosterone, hormones like the hunger hormones, and stop eating hormones, ghrelin and leptin. Insulin, of course, at the paramount of this, being even more controlled through a GPS nutrition plan that I'll talk about in a moment. As we move into a ramp phase, there are specific goals to help you become more metabolically flexible, where your body is able to it's able to switch between burning fats and carbohydrates for energy. At this point, we will have much more of a narrow scope of what the changes look like in your life, and we'll know how to navigate workouts, navigate meal prep, and you'll certainly start to see increased strength and stamina. Typically, people have lost a couple of inches off of their waist. Often in 6 weeks, people find an inch to 2 inches on average start to come off. Into the growth phase, this is where we're really solidifying habits. We're maximizing recovery. Your body actually starts to recycle waste product a lot faster. When we wake up at the beginning of the day, we have metabolites and waste product that as we exercise, we mobilize it, and it helps in exercise to think of it that way, because exercise isn't just about gaining lean muscle, though that certainly has a return on investment with productivity the rest of the day. Often exercise, a big part of it is even just to flush waste product and to move what are called metabolites and things like lactic acid out of your body. Optimizing health for high performance living, this is at the acme of the growth phase. As we move into the peak phase, we finely tune things. We start to find a new lifestyle. We master energy, focus, and fitness, and effectively develop a recipe for success in all the seasons of life. With the holidays, the trips, you'll have a duplicatable process with all of the events throughout the year. Ultimately, the peak phase is something that will help you to feel like you are again empowered again to control your energy and to take your life back to being able to live your best life. This works because there's no one size fits all approach to fitness. This is built around your schedule, designed to help your best self show up, not just for you, but for the most important areas of life, your work, your family, your relationships. Here's the truth: the impact of showing up at your best creates a compound effect. When you feel energized, confident, and aligned, it pours into everything you do, whether it's crushing your goals at work or creating more meaningful connections at home. And that's where the real transformation begins, not just in how you look, but how you live. So why does this work on a deeper level? Because it's not about quick fixes or short-term aesthetics. It's about creating sustainable models of health, even a culture at in the office and at home. And when your body feels safe enough to mobilize fat, you'll find your metabolism works in harmony with your daily habits. And specific hormones like insulin, cortisol, ghrelin, leptin, growth hormone, testosterone, they become aligned such that you are able to get to a lower body fat percentage. And these hormones help to keep you at a lower body fat percentage and in a state of optimum performance. Once your systems in the body become even more balanced, your body really begins to operate the way it was designed. Uh, it's as if we were flipping the right switches back on in your DNA code, turning potential into reality. This approach just isn't about fat loss. It's about freeing your body to sustainably thrive. And balanced hormones mean better energy, sharper focused, and the ability to pursue life at full capacity. This isn't going to be a path that is without barriers. And so we want to make sure that we take them, we consider them at the very beginning. There are going to be challenges with nutrition and exercise. Life's going to throw curveballs. Challenges are going to surface, and we'll face them together. Meal prep and cravings are something at the very outset that you'll learn practical strategies for planning and preparing that align with your goals, and you'll find cravings just kind of disappear. You'll be amazed. And I'll talk more about the GPS nutrition methodology in just a minute. Again, business trips, holidays, and special occasions, you'll stay on track while being even more present for these kind of experiences. Fatigue, posture, and joint pain, if that's something that you're tackling, sluggishness, bad posture, joint pain, inflammation, and more will be something that we'll work to with certain movement and recovery strategies. We'll work to improve these, just like we learned with Sarah. We had to make sure we went very slow to maximize her results and to build confidence. And she just started working with body weight and bands and then moved into a gym. And that may be how your scenario is. One of the things that we'll do each week is a weekly SWOT analysis where we'll pinpoint strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in nutrition and exercise so we can adjust appropriately. And I've mentioned weekly coaching sessions that will help you to have a checkup from the neck up and opportunities for the next week that help us to focus on improvements, incremental improvements. And then community support. There are people that are going through different barriers that you'll learn from that you may experience in the future. And so being a part of a weekly call where you're able to hear about some of these challenges, and I'll talk about how to navigate these. I am here as your guide. I'm here to guide you through each step of your journey, helping you to face them head on and celebrate every success along the way. We want to create sustainable habits that keep you thriving. And that is the intent of coaching. With me as your coach and a supportive group of peers, you'll have the most remarkable resources and encouragement to succeed no matter the barriers. Everything changed for me when my mom passed away at 47. She was beautiful physically, she just stunning and had all the aesthetics. But internally, her body was in turmoil, burning out, acidic, imbalanced. Losing her led me on a mission to understand what really creates health, not just outwardly, but deep within. And this journey brought me to an understanding that a balanced internal ecosystem, particularly one with proper pH levels, is the key to thrive long term. And again, I'm not a doctor. I can't guarantee healing for everyone. But what I can offer is the GPS nutrition plan. It's a system that is designed to help your body realign itself to perform at its peak performance. And the silent killer for so many is insulin, which can wreak havoc if not balanced. The GPS system is designed to take charge of blood sugar in a way that reduces insulin spikes, creating a stable, thriving environment in the body. And you'll have a guide that will go along with your program as a reference. The GPS methodology revolves around what's called meal sequencing. And in this process, we will eat greens first, that's leafy, fibrous vegetables, then move to proteins and fats like chicken, salmon, or avocado. And finally, finish with carbohydrates, starting with complex carbs like sweet potatoes, and then finishing with simple sugars like fruit or maybe even chocolate if that's what you want. And let me explain why this sequence works. And I want to use an analogy of a sink and a plumbing system. So imagine carbohydrates are like water flowing quickly down a drain. If carbs are eaten first, they rush through digestion, down through the piping, and they cause a rapid insulin response. Insulin's sole job is to transport glucose to cells. But when the cells are already full, the excess glucose is stored as fat around vital organs, exactly where we don't want it. When you eat greens first, it's like creating a nested barrier in the sink's piping. Fiber congests the pipeline, and so it slows digestion and forces the body to work on breaking down those fibrous greens first. Then when you eat protein and fat, they sit on the fiber nest. And by the time you introduce carbs, they're layered on top, breaking down slowly as digestive enzymes work. And so this slow process allows glucose to trickle in to your digestive tract instead of rushing in all at once. What is the result? Well, insulin stays balanced. Your body absorbs nutrients more efficiently. Hormone receptors for testosterone and growth hormone become more responsive because your cells aren't overwhelmed. By following this sequence, you don't just feel full or longer. You will reduce the need for snacks between meals. This will decrease stress on your organs and allow your body time to recover and to rebuild in between, which is called a postprandial state, in between the time you're eating. So even if you can't apply GPS sequencing to every meal, doing it for even just one meal will spark profound adaptations. Elevating fiber intake and the delayed carbohydrate sequence enhances absorption of vitamins and minerals. Improved hair growth, healthy glowing skin, faster muscle recovery, elevated energy and productivity and mental clarity. The list goes on and on as a result of more absorption of vital vitamins and minerals. So the GPS nutrition plan, it's a method for your best self to emerge, and it's incorporated into your nutrition plan. This will only help to improve things all the way down to a cellular level. Now, I won't get into a whole lot more, except again, to help you show up even more powerfully throughout the day. This is really the most important thing to think about. Your exercise plans are more than just a workout, it's a foundation for positioning yourself for top performance. I've already mentioned this. It begins the first window of the day, a time when you can set the tone for everything else that follows. And we approach your program with this kind of an intention where effectively we tie the day. 10% of your time is invested to you. And so clients will have this morning routine of studying a good book, journaling and reflecting on how they did the day before, setting your vision, then exercising to set your body up for success, checking in with the accountability group to report your first win of many for the day. This is a morning routine of clients. And it just goes to show it's not just about movement, but it's about casting the very best version of who you are becoming and aligning with in the day's goals. So the 3x3 plan, it takes workouts to the next level. We use a bespoke exercise application to deliver personalized workouts tailored, as mentioned, to your posture, your body composition, your fitness goals. And for most, this will unlock personal records or PRs, especially during the growth phase of your fitness journey. The workouts are organized with confidence and accessibility in mind. So whether you're starting at home as Sarah or transitioning into a public gym, each program is going to be customized so that we are progressively improving. So here's why this works when other exercise programs fail. We don't confuse activity for results, critical. Instead, the program strategically incorporates a few things that you may or may not have heard about. The first is evolving rep ranges. Next is time under tension techniques. Next, precise concentric and eccentric contractions. You'll have greater understanding of reference points. There's a lot of things that you'll learn to have confidence, and then also how to pivot joints safely, how to prevent injury and support critical areas like your spine and your core. The foundations of the 3x3 structure are simple and they're powerful. Last thing I'll say about this, the 3x3 exercise plan are 3 batches of 3 exercises performed back to back. And I'll show you visuals when we communicate what your program's to look like. We make sure we design the most critical exercises to be tackled at first. So even in the day, if it becomes tighter than you thought and you only complete the first batch of 3 exercises, you'll still be on track and you'll still be winning. The plan is aligned. There's a critical connection between exercise, activity, and nutrition. All of the movements are timed to manipulate metabolism and ensure you are hitting new peaks of performance. So a lot of people, they'll hit plateaus and become discouraged. You, however, will see constant progress. So all of that said, the secret to your success and what makes this program for you successful is in the principle of returning and reporting. I love what Thomas Monson said: when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported, the rate of improvement accelerates. Add to that the wisdom of Zig Ziglar: to be successful at anything, we must live our life with a vision and our day by the clock. Take a moment to think about your own fitness vision. As we've gone through this, what would measures of success look like? Is it wearing your favorite clothes that maybe you've seen in the closet, or you've seen other people wear certain clothes that you aspire to? How about increased productivity in the second half of your day? What would that do for you? Or the energy to have fun with your loved ones after work? Could it be added confidence in your relationships, or being an example of an even more balanced, fulfilled life? How about reducing disease risks like insulin related challenges or chronic illness? What about having confidence navigating restaurants when you go on a trip, or when you're out with your friends or family? How about enjoying treats every day and still being on track to lower body fat? How about going on a business trip and still thriving, being even more present, achieving something big, or participating in a fitness event? Or maybe you just want to feel more attractive and confident with your significant other or spouse. So all of these are reasons that you should consider shifting gears in your progress. The combination of our XFit community being filled with high achieving individuals who have been where you're at, or where you're going, and have their own challenges, but also successes that we can learn from. The combination of vision, accountability, and data-driven decision making together, these things ensure you not only see results, but you will see them at an accelerated pace. So, all of that said, the transformation starts now. When is the best time to plant a tree? It's 100 years ago. But the second best time? Today. So where are you at now? In order to know where we're headed, we first need to understand where you've come from. So think about the day you've had so far. What did your eating look like? What was your exercise like? Was it intentional? Did it feel organized and simple, or was it chaotic and overwhelming? If it wasn't aligned with the vision of who you have for yourself, don't worry. This is where transformation begins. Your personal blueprint after this presentation will show you the opportunity of what your life could look like. And so this is where you'll tell me about your unique lifestyle, your challenges, your goals, and even the resources you have at your disposal. We'll craft a path tailored just for you, a path that meets you where you're at today and scales step by step through the 4 phases toward your ultimate transformation. So again, why wait? Ask yourself, When will I be ready to live my best life? Well, why not today? Why not right now? Every journey begins with a single step, and that step starts here. When you decide to prioritize your health, prioritize your energy, your confidence, and your future, this is your moment. Your fitness transformation begins now. So let's make it happen. As a leader, as a business owner, consider how much more effective you are when you're energized and feel alive compared to being sluggish and worn out. How much sharper is your decision making and leadership when your mind is clear and focused? The real ROI of health. Oh, you could spend over 100,000 on mastermind events this next year, courses and conferences. But ask yourself, will this produce the same outcomes if you're still battling brain fog? How much momentum do you lose with low energy and a lack of drive? No matter how brilliant your strategies are, your ability to execute and innovate, it really depends on how you feel. Success starts with the person at the helm, and that means you. So think bigger. Decades, not days. Investing in your health is not about a short term return. It's not just about adding a few good years, it's about unlocking decades of great years where your energy, your vitality, your clarity are giving you an edge in every area of life. Professionally, you lead with more purpose and confidence. Personally, you thrive in relationships and family time. Physically, you move with strength and endurance to meet every challenge. Make health your strategic advantage. We want the highest ROI as entrepreneurs on every investment. What better investment can you make than one that amplifies every decision, every action on every relationship of your life? Health is not just a cost, it's the foundation of your greatest outcomes. So, the proven plan to unlock peak performance, not just in the gym, but in every area of life. Over the years, I've worked with hundreds of high performing business owners, executives, investors, and other high performers who needed results fast. And the key is a simple, effective system that delivers measurable results no matter how busy or complex. So the tools that make it simple and make it happen: GPS nutrition plan, a roadmap to fuel your body and mind tailored to your goals and your lifestyle. The 3x3 exercise plan, a focused exercise session day in and day out, published each week that's designed for maximum impact in minimal time. An accountability group with a community of driven individuals sharing victories, insights, and encouragement. The result is compounding success. It starts with small, seemingly insignificant patterns and accelerates as you feel stronger, more focused, and more energized. And in just a moment, you'll hear directly from some of the business owners and executives I've worked with, people who did not settle for good enough in their careers, in their relationships, or their health. They wanted the best and they achieved it. So, like any investment worth making, the program is not about quick fixes or gimmicks. It's about building something real, something that delivers measurable, lasting returns in your energy, health, and confidence. What this program does require is humility, the willingness to take an honest look at where you're at now, dedication, a commitment to small, consistent actions that will compound into big results over time. Focus, staying true to simple patterns that are sustainable and effective, building success week after week. This isn't about doing it all at once or diving into extremes. It's about scaling based on what's manageable for you, gradually pushing the limits of what you can achieve without sacrificing balance. So, your next step, in just a few minutes, you'll have a chance to fill out an application, to share your lifestyle goals and challenges, to schedule a free call with me so we can design a custom fit plan that meets you where you're at and aligns with where you want to go. This is the moment to start seeing fitness and health not as chores, but as the foundation of thriving in your successful life. Are you ready to make that investment? When deciding to invest in a coaching program like this, it's normal to have doubts or hesitations, so let's address a couple. Here's why you may not want to move forward. Time constraints. You might think your schedule is too packed to commit to a fitness program. fear of failure. If past attempts at improving your health haven't worked, you may worry that this may be the same, and there may be skepticism. You may wonder, is this right for me, or can I do this on my own? The cost, if you're thinking about the financial investment and what it means for your budget. So why should you move forward? Well, health is wealth. Investing in your health today pays dividends in productivity, happiness, and longevity. The question isn't, can I afford it, but rather, can I afford not to? Time is manageable. The program is tailored to your lifestyle. You don't need hours in the gym or an elaborate meal plan. We focus on efficiency and simplicity. We have proven systems for success. If you've tried and failed before, it's not your fault. You just likely didn't have the right roadmap or support. With my guidance, you will face this journey alone. This is tailored to you. It's not a cookie cutter program. It's personalized for your goals, for your schedule, for your current lifestyle. It means a higher chance of success. So here's a question to consider. What's the cost of staying where you're at right now? When you move forward with this program, you're saying yes to better energy, improved confidence, and a plan to thrive, not just survive. Success is about making a bold decision and taking the first step. You know this. Don't wait for someday. That's not a place. It doesn't exist. Your best life starts now. So you'll apply for a free personalized review of your fitness goals and challenges. I'll assess where you're at, and we'll explore the possibilities. So you'll find a link under this video where you'll fill out an application and then schedule a time immediately after. Here, again, some results of people that have worked with me. Here's John, CFO of a publicly traded company. He, in his testimonial, said, Lance turned what I thought was out of reach into a reality. Fitness is now part of my lifestyle, and I'm amazed at what I've seen. He shed 13 inches from his waist, reduced body fat by nearly 15%. Can you imagine? Again, felt this was out of reach. From burnout to breakthrough, Chris's GPS transformation. So as a busy entrepreneur, the post-lunch energy crash was very real, and he would plan for that. He would plan to be as productive in the morning as possible, and wasn't planned for meetings in the evening. And so we introduced the GPS nutrition system, and everything changed. In his testimonial, he says, the ROI in this investment was almost immediate. My afternoons became productive, and the family culture around GPS has been even more rewarding than the weight loss. Denny's fitness breakthrough. He actually had some challenges with his brain. He had a lot of brain fog, but there was some things neurologic, and the doctors told him that exercise could even kill him. And so he hired a nutritionist. He started using some apps, but he needed something that was much more customized and much more personal. The results, 52 pounds lost. He ran a half marathon in an hour and 39 minutes, which is incredible. His testimonial, my only regret is not hiring us sooner. This is a story that I love so much. Again, against all odds, we made a program work. Here are some testimonials from others.
My name's Jaden Olson. I've been a client of Lance's for going on 8 months. I am a peak performer. I own a 7-figure engineering business. I'm an avid real estate investor. I'm a father of 3 boys. I coach their soccer teams, and I love to travel. Lance's program has helped me navigate all these challenging aspects in my life that I have to manage on a daily basis. The travel is exhausting. The work is stressful. All these things add up in my life on a daily basis. And Lance's program has helped me identify and prioritize my health and fitness as a goal on a daily basis.
Hey y'all, just finished a great workout with my fitness coach, Lance King. My name's Scott Zach. I'm a 60-year-old business owner out of Nashville, Tennessee. I've been working with Lance for about 2 months now and ecstatic with my results. I'm losing body fat, I'm putting on lean muscle mass, and I'm getting to buy a whole bunch of new clothes because my old ones don't fit me. I love Lance's approach that focuses on a combination of good, solid, simple nutrition. I love the way that he focuses on strength training and cardio, and his strength training is done in a way that progressively helps you get better and better and better. So if you're looking for a great fitness coach, by all means, reach out to Lance King. Hey, y'all.
Hey, just want to give a shout out to Lance King and his coaching. It's been an amazing journey, and my health is not it's not a destination that you arrive at. Lance has just shared with me some very practical things that have extremely helped me. Originally lost 80 pounds, then we started building muscle. Now I'm intermittent fasting again, feeling great. Love you, Lance. You're an amazing coach. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I just want to share, anybody that's considering having a coach, sometimes you need that extra encouragement and accountability and push, because you really have to change your lifestyle. And I love what Lance does, one small thing at a time, custom crafted for you, your body type, your age, just kind of your life situation. And that's what's really put me over the top of making some major transformation. So thank you, Lance. Love you guys.
Hey, my name's Taylor Dietz. One of my most favorite things about working with Lance and his team as I'm going through this fitness journey is the sustainability of the program. When that comes to diet, when that comes to exercise, I feel like I can do this long term and be able to maintain the changes that I've gotten so far. And as my goals shift and change in my life, I know that I can apply what I've learned and be able to adapt with those goals and take what I've learned and create those changes. Super amazing. I love it.
I started working with Lance King in June of last year, and I found phenomenal changes in my body, in my lifestyle, in my energy level. My goal was to basically have more energy to do things and activities with my kids and to feel better about the way I looked and just how I feel on the inside. Besides the weight loss that I experienced, I found a healthier lifestyle. I've been able to maintain the healthy habits that I started. I go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. My weight has stayed low. I lost over 20 pounds working with Lance, and I gained insightful knowledge as to how the body processes food and nutrients, and a better way to exercise. I didn't know how to do all the exercise at the gym, and with Lance's helpful app, I was able to learn how to do that better and how many reps to do, how much weight to do, when to do them, how to do them, with some helpful videos, and enjoyed the one-on-one calls, and just connecting with Lance in general. He's a great person I trust, and I would recommend his services and abilities to anyone looking to better their lives, not just from becoming stronger, but just overall getting a better balance in their lives and maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Hello, my name's Alex. I'm one of Lance's clients, and he asked me a very hard question. He said, if you had to choose one thing, what would you be most thankful for my program? There's so many layers to this program and so many layers to the success that I've seen, and it is very hard to narrow it to one because I think it's a combination of all. But if I had to choose one thing that I think has done the greatest results for me, is the constant change. Your diet changes, your nutrition changes, what you're eating, that when you eat it changes, your workouts change every single week. And I have never done that in all my life. Your rep schemes, the weight you're lifting changes. So that for me, I think has been the absolute biggest game changer, is constantly challenging the body to change, to adapt, has shown me gains that I can't even describe. I've never had them before. So I think that would be the number one thing. But again, there's so many beneficial layers: accountability, checking in, talking with Lance, working through things that make this whole thing work. So
something I really appreciate and I felt like has been a game changer is the process and the design behind the process. We are moving through distinct phases for me and my fitness goals that they make a lot of sense. And Lance explains why. He explains why we're eating a certain way this time, and then what's going to come up next time. What are we trying to achieve? It just, everything is very well designed. There's a very high level of intentionality there. And I really appreciate that. I feel like my body has been responding well to that. Something I really appreciate and I felt like has been